Hello there, Sheriff17 once again. This is a build video for Nioh. This is my first and only build at the moment. It is my Shinobi build, but you wouldn't really think that because of course I'm wearing the Kelly skin at the moment. So before we get into this, I'm going to go and change that over and you can see what this build looks like, and I can go through exactly what it is, the statistics, the points I've put into places, and express to everybody why you do not want to copy this, because this is not a good build. It's a horrible build, really, in the grand scheme of things. It's a Dark Souls build in a Nioh game, which is not what you want at all. But everybody's been asking for this, so here it is. So this is my Shinobi build. At the moment, I'm carrying some interesting stuff because I'm doing titles, or I was doing titles when I last played the game. But I haven't been able to play this game for a while now because of all the other games that are coming out. The Guardian Spirit would normally be is it Kaja Jishi, the weird line thing that gives you the skill bonuses. So I use a lot of skills with this build, and that's the reason why I prefer that Guardian Spirit. Even though I'm not much of a Guardian Spirit user, the passives are incredibly powerful. But the main thing to bear in mind here is traditionally this build would have dual swords and Kusarigama, and it would have a bow and it would have a gun rather than having the cannon. But on the left hand side you'll notice that I've got it set up so that I have my medicine if I need it. I have weakness, I have carnage, and I have a fire talisman. The fire talisman can be swapped out for any element that's best in the certain situation. I also have the mystic art that enables me to instantly cast them, so I can press buttons and they'll just be cast, which is very convenient. Then when I swap to my other cycle of items, all of those items there are used to juggle enemies. So I've got that when I want to be silly and play around with juggling revenants and ninjas and stuff, just to mess around with the juggle mechanic that's probably going to be removed from the game. Right, let's get into the stats here, as our stats are kind of important, right? So, status-wise, my build is level 100. You'll notice that it went through a progression of level 70, level 80, then level 100. And you might be wondering why. Well, I stopped leveling at level 70 because I felt like I was at a good part of the game where everything was still a good level of challenge, but I was also lethal enough to put it down. On New Game Plus that changed, of course, because things got incredible HP increases, but I still felt capable and I still died in 1 to 2 hits, so that's kind of the paramount amount of punishment I wanted to take. So I kept it at 70 and quite enjoyed it because I didn't need any more points, I had all the things I needed. But I couldn't unlock the trainings, so alas I had to put magic from 5 to 20 and dexterity from I think about 10 to 20, and I rounded it off with a point in skill. Originally this build was intended to be a skill build. I wanted to go with dual swords and I wanted to go skill, so I pumped skill to 50. And I didn't really see much of a difference because, as I've mentioned, I don't think the statistics in this game are much like the Dark Souls series or any of the Souls games in general, so you have to use the stats in a different way, and it was a good learning curve for that because I didn't see the benefit that I wanted, even though it was obviously there. So I was also popping points into heart because the higher your key, the better you are at the game, right? Because you can roll more, you can dodge more, you can run more, you can do more things, you can attack more. You're in less of a negative benefit when you go into battle. So that's just, a no-brainer, I thought. So I pumped it to about 23, but I was also pumping it using the title and the prestige points and everything. So as you look there, my life is 1995, my key is 153, my equipment weight is 7.4, which gives me the A agility bonus, and my stats are about 1,000 in attack ranges for most things. My toughness is 115. My versus everything is pretty low. My versus the yokai realm is pretty high, which is 631. As we move across to the next page, you'll see that my Kai Pulse is 520, my ninjutsu power is 286, my capacity is 24, my Omnio magic power is 197, my capacity is 97, and then my Guardian Spirit Bond is 1100, which I don't really know what that's about. Proficiencies all are max except for Axe, which is why I'm using it right now. And then this is my special effects that I get granted. So I have plus 139 luck, I have plus 14% silver tongue, which is probably to do with my clan that I'm in at the moment. I picked, I think, the Furuta clan that gives you luck and higher prices when you sell at the blacksmith. The key recovery when guarding is plus 20% versus Yokai Realm is 205. We've got plus 10 to poison. We've got max arrows plus 5, max bullets plus 2. Dash endurance is 42.7%. Damage from behind is plus 6%. Amrita earned is 15.8. Yokai close combat's plus 10%. Durability of living weapon is plus 50. Omnio magic power plus 40. Gold is 14.4%. Item drop 11. Plus 29 to key. Human close damage is 8%. Damage from fall is 2.5, toughness 17, ninjutsu power plus 79, we've got some earth, we've got some quick attack damage, grapple damage. A lot of this stuff now is coming from my weapons and my equipment. Some of the equipment is okay, I guess. Unlimited on Nioh, that's always useful if you can get it to proc, plus 35 attack, damage bonus for less armor. So we've got kind of all kinds of stuff on that. That's the Guardian Spirit I'm using at the moment, but as I mentioned, I'm only using this dude because I was trying to experiment with the Sense Enemies feature to see if it's any good, and it seems pretty okay. So yeah, there is my thing. I have 56,000 glory. I am White Camp, and I am with the Furuta clan for luck and Silver Tongue. So that's what this guy's with. Then let's do the skills, because everybody was wanting to know what my skills were. Skills are kind of important. I don't use the sword too much, which is why I only have base skills for it. Flash attack, flux, quick draw, key stuff, morning moon, Kaipul's heaven, living water, some of the water shadow stuff. Pretty basic stuff, both the hazes, heaven's flash, and living water, so nothing too crazy on the sword, but enough things to have some stuff to do with it. This is the bread and butter, 'cause this is what this build was meant to use, so I have everything, pretty much. The ones that I recommend are, of course, all the kind of flux ones, all the kind of key ones. Sign of the Cross is ridiculously powerful at broken, you want to use it. You can oftentimes get 2 on an enemy. You can knock enemies down with it, which makes it so powerful. The Mystic Art that I'm using is Momentum, because it enables you to do more damage in my mind. Anything that does more damage rather than increases my defense I'm going to choose, and that's why I picked that one. So God of Wind is probably the strongest in the game when it comes to a single attack for locking down enemies. There are certain moves that I've come across that are really powerful. Like, there are a couple of sweep moves with the Kusarigama that are ridiculous. This is the ridiculous one for the Dual Spear. If you do God of Wind 3, the quickly timed last follow-up, you can loop almost every humanoid enemy in this game. It does great damage, it doesn't use that much ki, and it will put them in a flinch animation that stops them from being able to move, so you can land another one on them for free. If you watch my original Nioh video, when I take on both Honda and Tachibana, I use that to completely loop Honda at the end. Incredibly powerful and well worth your time. So just imagine every skill pretty much bought here for the most, and you'll imagine what my swords can do, my dual swords on this build. It's a dual sword build, everything is kind of unlocked for that. Spear, I don't have almost anything. I've got a couple of things, but I don't have any of the cool stuff because I don't use it. I'm going to make a build for the spear rather than have this build use it, probably. Same with the axe. Don't really have much with the axe. Just a couple of the techniques to help make it more interesting to use. This is the only area where leveling up would have been more of a benefit to me, because I could have got easy samurai skill points and unlocked all the moves, and that's one of the great things about leveling. But I was using it by just getting the locks of hair, and it takes a much longer time when you do that. So this is the second part of the build, the Kusarigama. So I have a lot of the Kusarigama stuff, but there's a couple of ones I don't have, which is... I don't have the increased version of Winter Dawn, apparently, which is really powerful. You want to buy these moves. It's a buff that can go with Carnage rather than override Carnage, so it's definitely worth it. A couple of the sweep attacks, a couple of armor pierces with final blows I don't have. I went with the sickle for my Mystic Art because I use the sickle more than I use the other side. If you're going to be somebody who uses the heavy stance a lot, then I recommend using the weight, because the weight does incredible damage on those heavy attacks. But I use a lot of Reaper, which is my favourite skill with the Kusarigama outside of the knee attack. So Masterful Guard. I don't do any of that. I should probably experiment with that. I wonder if you can do that to unblockables. I know it sounds crazy, but it might work. So I don't have all of these. Damage dealt from behind, which I should probably buy, because damage from behind is a no-brainer. And I don't have these low stance moves. Because I don't really use low stance that much, because I think low stance is incredibly powerful, so I've avoided it. I don't have that one. Full Moon Kata. Gives you damage when your life is at max. So there's quite a few things I don't have. But the ones that I recommend are the knee, which I can't remember the name of it. This one, I think it is. Yeah, that's my favourite move in the game. Whirlwind Kick is my favourite move by far in this game. I think it looks awesome. I wish I could give it to the dual swords. I wish I could give it to every weapon because I like it that much. But unfortunately, it's Kusa only. And then I recommend the Reaper attack, I think it's called, which is a triangle skill when you're guarding. This one. If you've watched any of my no damage of the big giant skeleton or the Yamata no Orochi, that's the move I use because it stacks massive damage when you buff yourself. Incredibly powerful, really fun to use. And then we have my ninja stuff. This is the stuff a lot of people were interested in. So the only thing that really matters here is that to instantly cast ninjutsus you need a Mystic Art. It's incredibly powerful, you want to get that one. And then there's all the shuriken shit that I was doing to mess about with the juggling, which none of this means anything really. The ones that I do recommend are the power pills, because the power pills are really fast buff before you have instant casts, so they can really help. We've got improvised projectile, which can be nice if you don't have any bullets. I use that occasionally. There's a tiger scroll to help you run, which I use quite a lot to get in and do good damage. There's the increasing on the bullets or the quivers. This one, Tiger Running. This seems like a kind of a speedrunner only kind of novelty scroll. I used it to get close to bosses to do massive damage while Carnage was still active. Surprisingly good at doing that too. Really, really interesting. So definitely pick that up if you want to experiment with it. So that's reduced key for your dash, but I don't have many. That one is the sneak attack. Very important if you want to do the criticals from behind. I've never used that. Holy Man, increased Sacred Water that can be carried. That's good because Sacred Water is really good. It's a Blossom from Souls. Increases your key resumption stuff. It's good stuff. There's the Power Pills. They're really good before you get Carnage, or if you want to use them in a quick situation because Carnage just won't allow you the time to buff. That is really good if you're using bare hands, as is a few of the other ones, but increasing ninjutsu capacity by 3. Pretty much no-brainers, right? Nothing too impressive on this list at all, really. In the grand scheme of things, nothing too crazy. Now this one, this is where the real damage happens. So, Weakness Talisman. This talisman is going to reduce your enemy's defense. It's going to make them take big hits. I use Awakening for my Mystic Art, which enables me to instantly cast. That is the most powerful thing in the game, I think, the instant cast. It's ridiculous on what you can do with it. I have these, but I don't use them. I've experimented with some of them. Once again, I've never used Sloth. Not even once. And I was there at the beginning when the game was first coming out, realising just how powerful Sloth was, and I was going to make a video on it until I saw that a bunch of other people made a video on it, and then it became ubiquitous and everybody was using it. There's nothing wrong with using Sloth. But don't complain that everything's easy when you're using Sloth, because you're using fucking Sloth. Please, folks, come on now. Anyway, so all the talismans I've got up to level 3, because the level 3 versions of the spells are less points on your capacity, so you can use more things. I don't use any of the stops, or any of the defensive ones, or any of the fired ones. I experimented with some of these when I was trying to launch people with the ground trap, because I was trying to set them on fire with magic. And I experimented with a bunch of stuff, and I had some interesting results, but I wouldn't use it unless I spec'd towards it, and it's not really my thing, throwing magic. So, all the elements are there. And then we have Yokai Realm, so I've got plus 50 towards Yokai Realm. I've got the level 2 for Pure Heaven to get rid of purifying the Yokai Realm. Then I have the Shockwave Talisman. This sounds great, doesn't it, when you read it? Release a shockwave that causes heavy ki damages to enemies around you. Every time I've used it, it's done naught. It's done absolutely nothing. I don't know if it needs buffing. I don't know if I used it wrong. I need to experiment with that because it should have been part of my key breaking build, but it wasn't because it was shit, and I don't know why. So I'll have to look into that. So that's an interesting one, the Kekai Talisman. I believe that's the same barrier that you get when you fight the giant skeleton, you know, that gives you all those wonderful abilities, but I haven't experimented with it. Oasis, I hadn't even bought that. Here we go, I've bought this. Carnage. So this is the most powerful Nioh magic in the game when it comes to damage. When you buff this, you will reduce your defenses, but you'll also increase your damage for about 10 to 15 seconds. When you have it at level 3, you can put a few of them on, so you can carry like 6, which is what I've got at the moment. And this thing is a wrecking crew. You can do it after a riposte to follow up with a nice quick cut or a ground stab. You can do it mid-combo, so that the final hit is a massive, damaging, powerful blow. Like, you can do so many things with Carnage. It's wonderful, and it's incredibly powerful. And the reason why I personally don't find it to be cheap, if you're curious as to why Sloth is bad and Carnage is good, is because Carnage affects you as well. Like, you know, it reduces your damage. It reduces the damage you can take, and then it buffs you up. And that's the perfect risk versus reward. You still have to earn every hit, whereas when you cast Sloth, you don't have to do anything. The game just breaks itself. There's the Fist Scrolls. I'm going to be experimenting with them when I get back to the game after Horizon and Nioh. Divination, I haven't really used that. Don't even have it, should say, 'cause this means I haven't bought them, so there's no point talking about them. Incantation Mastery, increases Nioh magic capacity by 3. So I have all of these because I find it to be really, really useful to have more spells. More better, in terrible English. But that's all the skills. Not really as crazy as people were expecting, I know, because they aren't really that crazy. So let's go to the gear. So let me pop on what I usually use in this build, because it's pretty no-brainer. So we have the Fudo Kuniyuki and Yeigen Toshiro. It is at level 5. I've refashioned it so it looks different. It's not my favourite looking katana at the moment. I just wanted to have the white hilts. It has 1157 attack, which is okay, but it's not the best. It has a built-in fire and an inherited parry. The inherited parry was a mistake. Didn't realise how good the other stats were going to be, so I ended up fucking myself, which is wonderful. But it has close combat key damage because I like breaking guards. It has the agility bonus A+, because I'm very light. The grapple damage, I do a lot of grappling. Mid-attack key reduction's great because this does a lot of the kicks and a lot of the mid-stance. It's a mid-stance build, effectively, even though I use all stances. And then change to attack is skill, because it's meant to be a skill build. And then, of course, the redundant parry. It has an 813 attack multiplier. It scales with both heart and skill, which is the points where I put them. It's a pretty cool sword. I like it a lot. It's my go-to one when I want to pull out some damage. I've got it to +5 on the prestige system. At the moment, the prestige system seems to be diminished returns. When I go any higher than this, I don't seem to increase the attack by too much. But it's something fun to do if you want to keep evolving, so it's definitely worth doing. I just pressed the wrong button, thanks to Nioh. Thanks to Nioh, sorry, too many ends. So some of the other swords I've got another +5 there, which was my original damage dealer, which you saw on a lot of my videos where I no-damage the bosses. But as you can see, there's 2 gaps there that need to be filled. That's why this is automatically better. Even though some of the stats on that are really, really useful for how I play. Especially the skill key damage, I like that one a lot. Like, there's a couple of these that I'm hoarding so that I can inherit them across when I get some better things. Like, there's quite a few different ones for different situations and what have you. Different elements. I've got a water one, I've got an earth one, just in case I need to swap it up. And then we have my Kusarigama, which is Shishido's Kusarigama, 1029 attack. It has human close combat 21%, which is just a no-brainer, really powerful against humans, and it has built-in earth for that extra elemental damage. If you want to build towards a discard build with poison or with fire, this can be your ticket to doing that. It has guard key reduction, which is kind of redundant, and I should swap it, but it's probably the best of a bad bunch, because a lot of these have been reforged till the cows come home. Then we have the close attack key reduction, which is just a no-brainer. I do a lot of close combat, it's good for that. And then we have a critical one, which was inherited, which I hate, and I want to remove, and I'm going to probably do that when I can find something to replace it with. But there are a lot of things that you can't seem to inherit, which is really frustrating, and I don't know why that is. It's one of those ignorances that I have of this game that I look forward to quelling. Grapple damage once again. I'm a big grappler. I love breaking people's ki and then grappling their tits off and doing max damage. And then close combat ki damage, which is another one, because I like breaking people's ki to get the grapple to repeat the cycle. So pretty much a no-brainer with everything I have there. None of this is mid-max, none of this is as paramount as it could be. It's just the kind of shit that I'm rolling with, and I have a lot of success with it. This is the type of stuff that you've seen on the videos. You might have seen iterative versions of it when it was a bit weaker, but generally that's the idea of what it was. This is my gun. I don't know how to find many high-level guns at the moment, because I don't bump into them. I've had these two on for ages, which is why they're max familiarity. The Raven Wing rifle looks the best, I think. If you look on my character, it has the beak. It's the one that Saika Magoichi uses. I really like this rifle. Do not like that bow. That bow looks awful. But the colour on it's weird as hell. So it's got ranged bullseye bonus, which is just no-brainer. Damage to Revenants is nice, but it's not needed. Equipment drop rate is good. Unlimited ammo is good. Matchlock damage is good. You know, it does everything I need it to do for the moment. The bow is kind of the same way. I don't really get that many of these weapons to drop, so before I can get some better ones, I'll have to look into how I do that. So let's get to the armor. This is what you were all waiting for. So you might be asking, Chris, why don't you just wear heavy armor and then refashion it to look like this armor set? If you know anything about my personality, you'll know that that goes against everything I believe in. I do not know why Team Ninja have allowed us to wear Havel's armor while running around in a fucking loincloth. That makes no sense to me. You should not be able to do Hollow Soldier loincloth while wearing Havel's armor. Why not just have Protector armor? Because that's exactly what you're making. Which to me is preposterous. I think you should commit to your armor, and you should feel the repercussions of that commitment. I think you should be able to tell exactly what somebody's wearing by what it fucking looks like. So the whole point of somebody looking like a ninja and wearing heavy armor is redundant and stupid, and I hate that. But it's in the game, what can you do? So this is my Shinobi armor. It's +5. It's the Shinobi Apparel Zukin. It has a 219 defensive multiplier. The damage reduction is built in, 1.6%. It has 23 luck. It has elemental guarding reduced. It has toughness +7, human equipment rate 7.9, and received firearm damage and ninjutsu power. So I don't want received firearm damage. I don't want anything that lowers my damage on myself. I want things that increase my damage or give me a bonus, but of course it's inherited, so I'll have to fuck about with that later. The torso is +6. It gives me 455 defensive multiplier. It has, once again, damage reduction built in, damage from behind built in, ninjutsu power built in. But on this we have toughness and ki, which are the two most important stats for me outside of damage on an opponent. And then unlimited on Nioh. Unlimited on Nioh is a percentage that when you use one of your talismans, it will not consume it. The more of those you can get, the better, because it will give you more carnages, more weaknesses, and more buffs. That is such a powerful resource, it's wonderful. The only problem with it is when you're trying to use it, because there isn't a lot of feedback when you have instant talismans, it doesn't look like you've used it, it looks like you've dropped an input. So you can kind of like press it more than you need to press it, which is a bit awkward, but once you get used to it, it's fine. And then we have the gloves. The gloves are probably the best one because of the attack. Look at that, +35 attack. If I could get that on all the other body parts, I would be a very happy man. But it seems like you just run this gambit of abilities and you never get the ones you want. And I've spent hours doing the reforging, guys, trust me. So, item drop rate is nice, but I don't need it. Did I say rape then? That's not good. Item drop rate, sorry. Damage reduction. Unlimited on Nioh once again to build off of the previous one to give us more unlimited chances. Ninjutsu power, toughness, damage bonus with less armor. So this one, I think, is amazing. Because it increases your damage you can deal in proportion to how little armor you're wearing. We're wearing as little armor as possible outside of being naked. I don't know if that means being naked to get best damage, but it must be good damage, one would think. If I could get that on every piece of armor, I would be a happy man. Because that's what I want. I want to do damage to you. I don't care how much damage I take. Everything kills me in 1 to 2 hits. What's the fucking difference? I want to kill you in 1 to 2 hits, and that doesn't happen. So, right. The leggings. We've got damage reduction. We've got running speed up 14.2%, which I love. The running speed is great. Movement speed is also amazing if you can get that. Yokai item drop is built in. Dash endurance, really nice. Evasion key usage, really nice. And then extended toughness. And then the leggings. So we've got all the built-in shit from before. Dash endurance this time's built in at 18%, which is really nice. We've got key and toughness, running speed, evasion key. Everything I could need from armor except for maybe a bit of damage would be nice. And then we have these, which I don't really care about. I can't find anything that I want in these, so I just equip the ones where I need, and usually I'd go for unlimited on Nioh. So that would normally be unlimited on Nioh, but I've been messing about with Treasure Sense to see if it's worth its salt, and I just don't think it is. So that's the statistics of this fella. So let's do the titles, shall we? So, I have 104 titles obtained when I was last playing. My reputation is 103, and I have none of those points on there. And this one I have 86 and 101 reputation level. Let's just do a scan of the title list, because I really should when I come back to this, I want to try and do all of these, but I haven't killed the umbrellas, because they're not anywhere in the bloody game. I haven't dominated the one-eyes, all the flying bolts. I haven't no damaged the giant toad, which is because getting back to him is a pain in the dick on New Game Plus. I haven't killed the giant centipede enough. I haven't killed a bunch of these guys enough, which is easily remedied. And look at that as well. I've only used living weapon 38 times. Goes to show how much I don't like it, doesn't it? I don't know what that is. Something to do with bare hands, maybe. We'll get that in time. I haven't done that, I haven't done that. So there's a few that are missing there. And then the title list. So there's a lot missing here. This is all axe stuff, that's why I've put the axe on. This is all cannon stuff, which is why I've put the cannon on. I got robbed on that. I turned the game off after I recorded my no damage fight on New Game Plus, and I didn't hit the fucking shrine, and it turns out it doesn't save. So I had to fight that bastard again. And I just got through it, scrubbing it out because I didn't want to do it. Horrible fight. Just beat more bosses, beat bosses a lot of times. That'll all come in time. Simple stuff. And that's it. Wow, I nearly have all of the titles in the game. Interesting, I didn't realise I was that close. I should probably do that. But I haven't played in like a week, and I'm really craving this game. So, this build's gameplay record. Is this my record overall, or is this just this character? I think this is overall, isn't it? Even though I only have one build, so it does count as him. So total damage, what is that? 46 million damage? Yeah, that's a lot. Total damage received, 5 million. So I feel good about that. Max damage from a single hit taken, 9,442. Max damage caused in a single hit, 18,000. Total fall damage, 31,000. Interesting. Actions. Enemies defeated, 5,576. Died 1,813 times. Does it tell you how many times you've suicided? Because I've jumped off this bridge a lot. Look at that. Times living weapon was activated 38. Look, enemies defeated with living weapon 17. I'm a fucking beast. Interesting. A lot of cool... I love these stats. It's weird that it keeps all this. My smithing text is very low. So this is interesting. It shows you the level that you completed the levels at. It's kind of cool. Small yokai defeated? What is that? Oni bee. I've killed 409 Oni bees. I wonder why. Oh, these are the bosses. Cool. I've killed Onryoki 19 times. Damn. Hino Emma 12. It's interesting. Humans killed with dual swords 1,500. Fallen warriors defeated? What does that mean? Ninjas? Look at the revenants. 1,797 revenants defeated. That's ridiculous. I had no idea it was that high. Crazy. Mission achievement rate, 100%. Twilight mission reward rate, 100%. Kodama's found. Boo. Amrita lost in death. Is that 62 million? Fucking hell. Amrita obtained. Is that 147 million? It is. I wish they'd do the little comma things. That's how I read numbers. God damn it. 558 times I've prayed at shrines. And my playtime is 152 hours on this build. That's a long time. That's how much I like this game, and I can't wait to get back to it. Because I have not scratched the surface of this at all. I'm still a scrub. It's going to be wonderful. But anyway, folks, there you go. There was my dude. That is my Shinobi build. I do not recommend anybody copy this because it's trash. But you wanted to see it, and there it is. It's armor, it's weapons, it's skills, it's statistics, all of that good stuff. My titles, my gameplay stats, everything all condensed into one video. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the future Nioh content. You take care now.